Welcome to Unrankable Top 10s, where only the finest selections are examined and ranked. Today we turn to the animal kingdom, where I have gathered the top 10 best animals of all time in my opinion. Disclaimer before we get into today's list, take every fact I say in today's ranking with a grain of salt. I'm a professional ranker, not a biologist, but I've done my best as a ranker to fact check every animal. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's get right into the ranking. At number 10, the seahorse. One of the things about the seahorse is its appearance when you look at it. I mean, it is a horse-looking animal, obviously. It's called the seahorse. I forget the actual scientific name, but it's called the seahorse for a reason. I mean, it looks like a stallion. One of my favorite things about the seahorse and why it made the top 10 here is the elite love story that pretty much every seahorse has with its partner. The thing is, the way they mate, they kind of interlock their little squiggly tails, and then they start dancing. I mean, they catch a vibe. They just start waltzing around. It's very adorable, and they're mates for life, which pretty much means that they're very monogamous. They never cheat on each other. They're not, they're very faithful animals. And I really respect that about a seahorse. Anyway, at number 9 we have parrots, simply because they can talk. I mean, that is insane. I mean, let's think about this for a second, everybody. They can speak. They're not fluent. I'm not fluent in my own language, but they can speak. I mean, it is amazing. You see that one parrot on TikTok where it sees a bowl and it's like, that's a bowl, and it's like, holy shit, dude, that is a bowl. He's right. That's bizarre. He's a parrot. That doesn't even make sense. They also live to be like 60 years old, so that's interesting. At number 8, we have the gibbon monkeys. I would have had monkeys as a whole here, but we're going with the gibbon monkeys specifically at somebody's request. They gave me a note. They said, they sit funny and have long, lanky limbs. I just think they are funny creatures, and you know what? I completely agree. They do sit funny. They have long, lanky limbs, and I also agree they just are funny creatures, and that was enough to crack my top 8 here. At number 7, we have octopuses. Octopi? Whatever the fuck that shit is. Anyways, octopuses they're just aliens. Let's just be for real. Aliens. I mean, look at them. They look like aliens. It is insane. I mean, they can fit in those little tight spaces. You ever see videos of an octopus going inside of like a jar? How does it do that? No bones. That thing has. No bones. It's absolutely insane. And also they can change colors impeccably well. I mean, they can camouflage. They're so smart. But one of the drawbacks, and they would have been higher on the list if this was not the case, they only live to like 5 years. So it's kind of just like, oh, they squirt ink. Yes, they do that. I forgot about that. They do the ink shit. They squirt ink. That's like one of the least fascinating things about that, but that's just how fascinating. That just proves how fascinating the octopus is just, they squirt ink. It doesn't even register in my head. I'm talking about how they change colors. They squirt ink at you. That's diabolical. They're very smart, but their lifespans are pretty short. And that's why they're only at number 7. They would have been higher. But at number 6, we have snails. Now, hear me out. You might be saying, Unrankable Top 10s, you pathetic loser. Why would you put snails on the top 10 at all, especially above some heavy hitters like parrots and octopuses? And honestly, it's simply because of the way they reproduce. I mean, the reproduction of a snail is very intriguing. Here's the thing. I believe all snails have male and female reproductive organs, so they can just kind of choose which one they want to be on the day. Now, the thing with a snail is it takes a lot of energy to be a female if you're pregnant, because snails have, they're so pathetic, they're stupid and dumb. Look at them. It takes a lot of energy to be pregnant and give birth and lay eggs or whatever snails do. So they want to be the male. So they kind of all become male when they mate. They do foreplay. First of all, they do foreplay for hours. Just hours on end. It's absolutely ridiculous. And then when they actually get to the reproduction, they start just fucking each other. And then they have like love darts shoot out of them and then shoot into the other one, and they start secreting something. I forget this part. This part's kind of foggy to me, but it fucks up the whole system pretty much, where it just makes it a lot harder for the opposing snail to impregnate them, because again, the goal is to become not to become the female, because that would just take so much energy and time. And I just find that really interesting, so that's why they were number 6 Before we get into number 5, I just want to retract a previous shout out I gave in a previous Unrankable Top 10s episode to Faith. Fucking ridiculous behavior, dude. I mean, just insane behavior. Like, I'm thinking about it, it's not hard to not do something like that, you know? Like, if you're a regular human and not an absolute troglodyte, that's a pretty easy thing to not do, is some dumb shit like that. Absolutely devious behavior. Villainous, some could say. Insane. Anyway, at number 5, getting back into it, we have elephants. No, nothing needs to be said. Elephants never forget. They're so smart. We poach them all the time, and it's very sad. It actually does bring massive amounts of sorrow into my heart. They also, speaking of sorrow, they grieve. Just straight up. If one of their own dies, they will revisit that, like, the bones. That's just not, that's a thing. I'm pretty sure that's insane. They grieve. They get sad, which is insane to me. They also remember humans sometimes. Like, they'll just go back to humans that they met, they had a good experience with, they vibed with, they connected with, you know, they had a spark. They'll come back and they'll be like, yo, what's up, bro? It's been so long, it's been 20 years, what's good, bro? And then they catch up, they have a conversation with the humans, and they talk about how life has been since then. At number 4, we have kind of a wild card. We have platypus. I don't know what the plural for that one is either. Weird animal. I mean, the scientists that first discovered platypuses genuinely thought it was a joke. That's real. They thought it was just some prank. I mean, it is weird. They sweat milk, like, insane. They're one of the only mammals that lay eggs. Insane behavior. But the reason it's so high is purely because of Perry the Platypus from Phineas and Ferb. Amazing character. You know, he's fighting Doofenshmirtz constantly, and he's fooling the guy. I mean, he doesn't wear that hat, and he's a completely different guy. But when he puts on that hat, he's Perry the Platypus. I mean, it's insane. Number 3, one of my personal favorites, we have manatees. They're chill. At number 2, we have the immortal jellyfish. So, they're immortal, technically. So what immortal jellyfish do, I don't know the specific scientific ways they do it, but they can revert to previous life stages. That's insane. Are you serious? They can go back in time, pretty much, the first Thanksgiving to take turkeys off the menu. That's insane. It's like if I could just go back to being a goddamn infant right now. That's insane. Now, they can be killed. If you, like, stab them or cut them apart, they will die. But they've solved aging. It's insane. And at number 1, my personal favorite animal of all time, the mantis shrimp. There is so much you can say about this animal, but I'm going to focus on one point, their punch. It is the pound for pound hardest punch out of any creature for its size. First of all, their punch is in like less than the blink of an eye. It is so fast. It is ridiculous. It is so powerful. Like, if you have a mantis shrimp, you can't keep it in a regular glass aquarium because it will break out of it. It is that strong of a punch for how small it is. I think it's like 6 inches. Ridiculous stuff. The surrounding water, whenever a mantis shrimp punches, this is insane. This is true. Becomes the same temperature of the surface of the sun. It's not like, oh, it's boiling temperature. No, the surface of the sun. Dude. That's insane. It also can, like, break through like crab shells. But that's far less impressive. The surface of the sun. Why? Insane stat spread from this animal. I mean, it is absurd. And that was our list for the top 10 best animals of all time. What did you think of our list? What do you think we missed? For the best top 10 rankings on YouTube, make sure to subscribe to Unrankable Top 10s.